this is Noreen from Joya Cards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more of my Stampin' Up! Card videos, please click that subscribe button and the little bell, and you'll be notified when my videos release. Anyway, now let's go make a card. Hello everyone, welcome to the Ink and Ingenuity Blog Hop. Yay! So in my video here, I'm going to have some links. In fact, go to my joyofcards.com website, and when you go on there, look for this card if it's been a while, and there'll be links on my website for all the other bloggers. It won't be on the YouTube links because I don't think it does that. So, but this is a blog hop, so a bunch of ladies are doing a blog hop on Christmas cards. So this is a good one to do if you're looking for ideas and you can find them all in the row. So this is a great card because I just love doing backgrounds. So I did a background on the front, and of course I carried it into the inside of the card. And I've been making my insides prettier nowadays. And usually I leave off sentiments lately, but it's a Christmas card that's pretty generic. So let's go ahead and get started. Yay! So the card base is going to be a typical 5.5 by 4.25, scored and folded. And then we're going to take a piece of black glitter. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but the edges are in black glitter. Now, black glitter, I don't want to waste a whole sheet on something that's going to be covered up. So I'm going to take this black glitter and my stitched rectangle frames. It's the second largest one. And I'm going to cut the middle out so I don't waste it. So go ahead if you have this. And if you want to go down a little smaller, you just have to make sure you don't go out of bounds. But if you want to use a smaller one, like the third largest, that's fine. But I'm going to take this and cut it out. And this is what it's going to look like. See, I can go ahead and take this and use it for something else, so I'm not wasting it. So now I'm going to go ahead and snail it up on my silicone craft sheet, which is essential for all snailing and mixing and gluing and all kinds of stuff on this thing. Anyway, then I'm going to take my card front and I'm going to line it up and put it on. And this is what it's going to look like. Now, next thing you're going to do is grab 2 pieces of Shimmery White. That's what I do all my blending on for the most part. And the inside piece is going to be 5 by 3.75. And the front piece is going to be 5.25 by 4. Now you're going to take some layering circles, and this is the second smallest regular layering circle, and I cut out on copy paper. You want copy paper because we're going to use this as a mask. If you use any kind of quality paper like Stampin' Up, you'll leave a halo and weird stuff. So always use copy paper for a mask. So I went ahead and cut that out. And then go ahead and take that piece of copy paper you still have and take the bird from Happy Holidays, the big bird here, and you can stamp this on anything you want because all we're going to do is make a mask. So go ahead and stamp that and then fussy cut it. So I went ahead and fussy cut my bird here because I've already made the card. The only thing you have to know is you do need to take like an X-Acto knife and cut between his legs there. But go ahead and cut the bird out. Now you're going to take that circle, which is going to be the moon, and use the teal Tombow tape. This is the removable adhesive. I think they all say, no, it says removable adhesive on this one. So it's the teal one. And we're going to place that where we want our moon. So right about there. Now I'm going to stamp the branch here. And you can't tell in the video, but this branch is actually Versamarked. So I'm going to take the branch. Now the branch is from Bird and Branches, and we're going to use the big one here and the smaller one there. And of course they are a clear stamp, so we need to use a stamping pad. Make sure you do that. And grab some Versamark. And oh, before we do that, always, always, always use your anti-static thing. I forget sometimes. In fact, the reason why I use my tray is because I keep all the Versamark and everything in here. So I always remember to use my embossing buddy here. So take your anti-static thing and make sure you do your thing first. Oopsie, almost made a mistake. Anyway, so now we're going to take our Versamark on the tree branch here and get it nice and inked up here. And you might even want to grab, in fact, we need to grab a piece of scratch paper because I'm going to stamp a little tiny bit off here. So I'm going to restamp here because I'm paranoid. And let's put this, we want to make sure we have enough room for the bird. So I'm going to put it right about here. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink it again. And I'm going to look for where I Versamarked and kind of make another branch going off the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to grab the smaller one. And I'm going to put 2 in here. I'm going to look for that intersection of the other one here. Okay, and then ink it up again, and then I'm going to stamp off. That's why we got the paper. I'm going to look for the Versamark and make sure I give it enough clearance so it doesn't interfere with the bird. So I'm going to take it back a little bit and do it right there. We're going to take our black embossing powder. Now, in the new catalog, I'm going to sprinkle this on. In the new catalog, it's packaged in a group of 3. So, and it's part number 155554. And you get black, white, and another one. So you get 3 of them instead of just 1 at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and I did my powder here, and I'm going to turn on my gun and let it warm up. It's always good to let your gun warm up, especially mine. I think I need a new one. And Stampin' Up does sell a heat gun, so if you want another heat gun, go ahead and you can get it on Stampin' Up. It's in the back of the catalog there. So always let it heat up real good before you start putting it on. Now, believe it or not, it's like, Noreen, what did we do? We inked before we did our background. It's like, this is okay because it's Versamarked. So I'm gonna go ahead and have that going. Now that stamp isn't really like a super solid stamp, but that's okay because we can go ahead and fill that in with a little bit of black ink. So just make sure you got it all done here. Now that we're all Versamarked, we're going to start on the bird. Now, I've got my basic gray stamp pad. And by the way, all the dimensions, all the supplies are in the body of my video. So you go to the title, click on that show more, everything will pull up. It'll have literally everything. You can even click on links next to all the supplies, and you can place an order directly with my Stampin' Up site. So go to do that. And remember, the blog links are not on the YouTube description. They're in my joyacards.com because I have a website as well. So go to joyacards.com, look for this card, and you'll find all the links. So that's kind of the thing. I believe it's not there. You can look, but I think the last couple of blog hops, they weren't able to put that on YouTube or something. So now, basic gray, I've got this all inked up. And let's go ahead, and I'm going to stick my head in the camera. I'm so sorry. But I just want to make sure that his feet are right on that branch. There you go. Now remember, I had you cut out that bird. We stamped it and you fussy cut it. Now you're going to take the masking Tombow, the one in the teal one, and go ahead and mask it and put it over your bird. Now you're asking probably, it's like, are we going to mask the branch? And it's like, nope. We're not, because it's Versamarked, and if I got anything on there, I can wipe it off. And it's so dark, it doesn't matter. Now, we're going to wait for the Noel till later, but now that we've got the bird masked, now we can start our blending. Now we're going to go ahead and start doing the background. So here's the background there. And we're going to start with Balmy Blue, then Bermuda Bay, and then Misty Moonlight. And remember, when you cut out that the template of the bird to mask here, make sure that you cut out in between his legs there, because we definitely want to fill those in. So we're going to start with the lightest color on the bottom and leave with the darkest one on top. So Balmy Blue. Now, depending on how well inked your pad is how much you're going to want to kind of stamp off. But stamp on the pad with your blending brush, and these are new in the catalog as well. You can find them there, and you can find it in the body of my video. click on the show more and I'll bring it up and show you what I use. And if you're a demonstrator, because I know that most of my subscribers are demonstrators, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I totally acknowledge that this is for casing purposes, you know. That's what the internet is for. Case, case, case. Use my card for card classes or whatever. I don't mind. And you can win a demo card. Anybody can. If you're a demonstrator or if you're just a card maker or a hobbyist or whatever, anybody can win a demo card. If you're a first-time subscriber, like, subscribe, and put in the comment, I would like to win the demo card, and put your email. I can't talk to you unless you have an email address. So you can, I'll go ahead and email you and let you know if you won the card, and I'll stick it in the mail. So anyway, so there's a balmy blue. Then I'm gonna put on some Bermuda Bay. So I'm tapping it off and swirling it inward. And this is like the transitional color between that balmy blue and the Misty Moonlight. So we got some balmy Bermuda Bay here, and now we're gonna go into some Misty Moonlight. This is a dark color, so be careful. And circle inward. If you don't circle inward, you forget. And I do that every once in a while. I forget. I did it on my last video. It's like I splurched it, and it's like, you know what you do? You turn it over. But on this one, you can't. So tap it off and circle in and go in like this. And now it's just a matter of adjusting your colors. So I'm going to play with it here and get it to where I want. And you notice I'm going right over that verse mark. Yep, doesn't matter. It's okay. It won't do anything. So I'm going to mix in Misty Moonlight and the Bermuda Bay and the balmy blue and get it to where I want it. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back. So now I'm done blending. And as you blend, get your Post-it note and put it on your fingers. I forgot to do that before, and now my fingers are all inky. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands. While your inks are still out, grab that other piece of Shimmery White. That's the 5 by 3.75. And do the same thing. Grab your Post-it note so you don't mess up your fingers. And if you splotch on your card or something, you can just go like this and turn it over. So do the same thing. Do the balmy blue. And I just put it everywhere. This time I don't have to worry about our horizon or being darker on one side. So you can just fill this in any way you want. So I'm going to just put it all over. That's the balmy blue. This is the Bermuda Bay. And turn this around. And then go in with the Misty Moonlight. And just make it however dark you want it. Now that the inside piece is done, let's go ahead and put the inside piece together. So we're going to get the holly and the Happy Christmas from Happy Holidays. And let's start with the holly. And we're going to go ahead and stamp it in Memento. And this is one of those orange stamps, so we don't need a stamping pad. And I'm just going to put it here on the side. And then grab the sentiment, Happy Christmas. And stamp it up. Sorry, I'm going to put my head in. And stamp it up like so, like that. Now I'm just going to start doing a little bit of blending. I've got my light and dark Granny Apple Green. And with the Granny Apple Green, with the light one, I'm going to fill in the entire holly leaf. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to take my dark Granny Apple Green and just put in some highlights where the little, the lines are on the leaf. So just, and maybe down the center, and just give it a little depth. As you put in the dark one, grab the light Granny Apple Green and just go over it again. It'll just smooth out the transition between the two colors, just like so. And that's how you do the leaves. For the berries, I'm going to start with the light Real Red, and I'm going to color in most of it except for a little tiny bit of a blank spot, so it has that artificial, like there's a shine to it. I didn't do that very big, but that's all right. I could do it on this one, just like that. And then we'll take our dark Real Red and do the lines that were there, just like so. Now let's put this together. I cut out a piece of Misty Moonlight, 5 1/4 by 4, and snail it up and put it on the inside of the card in the middle like that. And then grab the sheet that we just did and snail it up and put it on the center. And now we're done with the inside of the card. Next, I'm going to make all these little stars in our background here. So I'm going to take this and put it way off to the side because this can be a little messy. So grab one of your water painters, and I grabbed the thick one here, and your Whisper White refill, and I just used the cup. And you got to have some water in your water painter, and give it a little bit of water on that ink. Now this is like, I think it's a pigmented ink. So it's not like the other inks that Stampin' Up has where they're water-based. This is a different kind of a deal. And get some water in there on your ink. Now you might even want to take a piece of paper and test it first. I grabbed that Post-it note from before and just kind of test it and see if that's the consistency you want it before you start working on something you just spent all this time on. So this is a good consistency. So I'm going to grab my bone folder here, and it's got a good amount of water that I squeezed on it. I tested it. I'm going to grab some more again and just tap it. You still have your mask on, so it doesn't matter. And the rest of that is Versamark, so that looks good. So that's how you do the stars. Now is a good time to take a baby wipe or something and clean off your area here, because that splattering of white kind of gets everywhere. And then we want to be able to work on our piece here. So I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to dry it up. So I'm going to do that and I'll be back. So if you did get some of those stars on the below part here, just wipe them off with your finger. They'll come right off, especially in the Versamark, they'll come right off. So I did wipe those off. I kept my stars more on the top here. Now let's do the reveal. Dun 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 dun. There's a bird, and where's the moon? And here it is. There you go. Now we're ready to color in the bird. Now on my card, you'll notice my bird is yellow. It's like, why is it yellow? Because I thought yellow and blue looked better than red. But I did do a bird with red. And I might go ahead and this card, I think I'm going to do this one in red. So if you want to do a yellow one, the only difference is I use Daffodil Delight. So, but I'm going to use the same technique as what we're going to do with the red bird here. So we're going to use our real red, and we're going to use our light and dark smoky slate. I'm going to grab also the basic gray Stampin' Right marker. Okay, if you're a demonstrator or a real avid hobbyist, there is a set of Stampin' Right markers in the catalog. It's with the pastels and all that. And I know they're kind of expensive because they sell them in one big thing, but they are definitely worth getting because there are times where you really need this really fine point here, and this nib is just really nice too. Or, you know, not every blending pen has a color. So with the Stampin' Rights, they're all the colors, so you always have a pen for anything that you want. So in this case, I do want the basic gray pen. I'm also going to grab the basic black one. Now the basic black is the only one you can get by itself, and it's in my video description, so you can click on a link. They're like $4. Definitely get a black one. And then I'm also going to grab, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, but my Stampin' Chalk marker. I'm also going to grab another little dish here with some gray granite refill and some of the white here as well. And let's see what else. And some blending pens. And if you haven't used these before, they're awesome. So we're going to kind of use a mishmash of all this kind of stuff and see how it turns out. But let's start with the gray, and we're going to do the light smoky slate. And I'm going to use the tip end here, and I'm just going to give it a base of gray. So I'm going to fill in everything except for the belly. Basically what we did with the bird here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do something different. I'm going to make the head of the bird red and have that in between spot like I did on the yellow one. So let me fill this in and I'll be back. I put down that light. Now I'm going to put in some dark smoky slate and just kind of highlight where all the little lines are here. And this is just a matter of playing with the colors. There are some ladies that are just amazing at this kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm just kind of okay at it. So let's see. I'm going to do some up here, some around here a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to grab some, let's see how this works out. I'm going to grab some light gray granite and just kind of fill in some area here. This isn't doing much, so I'm going to do dark gray granite on the pointy end. Be careful when you switch around colors. Kind of test it out first. So now I took a little bit of my Whisper White refill and a little bit, like literally one drop of the gray granite refill. One drop. And a little brush, and I'm going to mix these together. And it's going to be kind of stiff. But that's okay. That's how I want it to be. I want it to be a little stiff here. And this will cover over these lines, so don't do them over the lines. So I'm going to put in some stuff here. Just to kind of give it a different texture. I'm going to put in a little more gray granite. Mix it up. You may or may not like this particular technique, but it works. All right. Now I'm just going to play with the colors a little bit while that kind of dries just a tiny bit. And this stuff will take forever to dry. So just kind of move on to the next part, which the red belly and the red head, just like me. And I'm going to take the light real red, and I might switch to cherry cobbler. I can't remember if I used cherry cobbler or real red. So might as well start with the lighter one first, right? Can always make it darker. And I'm just going to outline the whole thing in the light real red. So I'm going to fill in the whole one, and I'll be back. Now I'm going to get that dark real red. And I know on this one I only did like the top part, but this bird I did the whole belly. So this one I'm going to do the whole belly as well. So I'm just going to make this darker on the bottom. And I think I will switch to the cherry cobbler. Let's start with the light cherry cobbler and see what kind of difference it makes on the belly and on the head here. I'm going to grab that light real red, blend it in a little bit. There's not such a line there. And I'm going to go for it. The dark real red. Grab the pointy end. And it's just a matter of playing with the colors. So I'm going to go back and forth with the dark and the light and the cherry cobbler and the real red and just kind of blend them all in. So I just took that dark real red, gave it some more on the belly. Now I've got the light, or that was the dark cherry cobbler. Now I've got the light real red, and I'm just going to blend it out a bit. Okay. Now, if you notice, I've got a subtle white line between the sky and the bird here, and that's from the masking. That's why we have, one of the reasons why we have the basic gray with the pointy end here. And that's why I said, you know, if you're a demonstrator and you don't have the whole set of Stampin' Right markers, I would get them. And I'm just going to outline that bird in the basic gray, not black, basic gray. And then I'm also going to take this beak and I'm going to outline it and fill it in and try to get rid of some of that white area too. You can go over it, it's not going to matter. I'm also going to take the pointy end and do the feet too in that basic gray and fill it in. Get rid of those little white areas. And I'm also taking that basic gray and outlining between the red and the other gray. I think I'm going to do the whole bird as well. So I'm just going to take the outline here and go just really, really, really slow. I'm going to grab a blending pen, and before you use any kind of a blending pen, make sure there's nothing on it. I'm going to take this blending pen over the gray here, and be careful that white that we put on there, it likes to go places. And we're just going to mess with the gray for a while. So I got the blending pen here doing its thing. I'm going to wipe this off because it's got some stuff on there. And then I'm going to take the chalk marker and I'm going to mess with this too. I'll just put it, kind of fills in more of that white as well. And maybe over here. And then I'm going to take the basic gray again on that tip and put in some of those lines we got rid of with the white. And now I need to do the eyeball, so I'm going to take that pointy end of the Stampin' Right, and make sure when you've got your hands over your piece here, you're not rubbing those stars off. So I'm going to make the eyeball nice and dark. Just like that. I think it looks pretty good. I think we're done. So it's just a matter of playing with your colors here. And I'm just trying to get out that white in between. And just, you know, you can use your chalk marker. You can use the real stiff white. Now make sure you realize that this will be a little tacky for a while because that's really thick. And then, you know, just, you know, kind of work with it. Now I'm going to take my basic black, and the stamp with the branch isn't a super solid stamp, so I'm going to fill in the areas that it's a little white and just kind of go over it here with the pen. Just go really slow. You don't want to go and ruin your thing. Just go really slow. Just kind of fill in the areas. I filled in all those little areas. So now let's get to the Noel. So I'm going to do something really scary. I'm going to first mark over almost my entirely finished piece here. Woohoo, breaking the rules. So first of all, I'm going to use my anti-static here. Just make sure that we're all cool. And then I'm going to take my Noel, and Noel is from, of course, Happy Holidays. And of course I got powder on my Versamark. Yay! So here's Noel. Make sure it's nice and inked. And then I'm going to put it right here in the corner because Noel is Versamarked. It is not Memento. I wanted it really super black over our piece, and I didn't want to put a sentiment tag or anything like that. And then the black embossing powder, and let's put it over. Flick it off. I'm going to grab it little again. Flick it off. Looks good. Now I've got my heat gun going. I want to show you something really super quick. This is how I remember to use my embossing buddy. I keep it in my tray. It's like this in a drawer. It has a Versamark, my embossing putty, and the tray. They're all together, so I always remember to use my anti-static. So anyway, now let's go ahead and heat gun my Noel. And of course, I want this really super hot, so I'm going to kind of wait here for a second, and then let's go for it. And if you don't think your gun's hot enough, take it away. So I'm going in, I'm going out, I'm going in and going out, going in and going out. And that looks like it's done. We're in the final stretch, yay! So, how did I make this holly? I used the border punch. So, this is the holly border punch. So, I punched out just one of these little foil, the green foil, and I'm grabbing that, and I'm going to go ahead and snail it onto my birdie here, like so, just so the tip of that holly is right about in his mouth. Maybe I might want to move it over a little bit. So I've got the holly where I want it, and then I'm going to take the real red rhinestone jewel thingies that I love. I hope they carry it over again in next year's catalog because they rock. And just put a couple of those crystals right there and snail it up. Only not, okay, when you snail this up to the card, only do the paper part. Don't do the glitter. You'll just be wasting your snail because it doesn't, you know, snail does not like glitter paper. So I put it up in the middle, and boy, that's the card. I don't know. I think I like it better with the red now. I don't know. You might like yellow. You might like red. Doesn't matter. You can choose whatever you want. It's your card. But that's it. Don't forget, you can win the demo card. First time subscriber. Like, subscribe. Put your email in the comments. Say, I want to win the demo card. And if you're the first of two, I'll get your address and put it in the mail. It's free. Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that'll do it for me. Thanks. Bye. Don't forget about the blog hop.